It's a startled look, it's a rabbit caught in the headlights. Melania, it's like she hasn't even seen him standing there. His eye gaze and his facial expression, they're very much aimed at Epstein. That baleful glare, it looks extremely meaningful. I'm Judi James, I'm a body language expert and author. And I'm going to be taking a trawl through the historical photographs and body language of the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew, to see if we can get any clues about his background, about his feelings, and how he evolved into the person that we see today. This is where we're looking at, I suppose, what you would call the party prince, clearly with well-known faces. But extraordinary body language. Firstly, if we look at the composition of the pose. Now, Andrew being a royal, you would kind of expect to be the centre of attention. I know that nobody really achieves that when Donald Trump's around, but it's just so fascinating to see what's happened here, because we've got Donald and Melania doing this very high-ranking Hollywood-style pose. She's doing a bit of the looking over the shoulder, very elegant, very much the centre of focus. They're the famous people in this photograph. And then there's Andrew, who is in a way being ignored, which is quite extraordinary. He's almost brought himself into this photograph. Melania, it's like she hasn't even seen him standing there. And in a way, if selfies were around in these days, you could almost see Andrew getting his camera out and posing for a selfie with Donald and Melania. And then we have this extraordinary facial expression. It's a startled look, it's a rabbit caught in the headlights. But for me here, it's almost as though he's down the league in terms of rank, but also really trying to be seen by the camera, trying to make his mark. We've got here at the same event. Now, he's again looking quite low in status. If we look at his gaze, his eye gaze and his facial expression, they're very much aimed at Epstein. It's as though he's trying to react to Epstein. It's as though he's trying to show that he's over-laughing at one of his jokes. I mean, Epstein is pulling some kind of funny face. And Andrew's doing an ingratiating laugh here. The mouth is open, the cheeks are an exaggeration in terms of the apple-shaped cheeks, the raised cheeks. He's got that quite excited eye expression. But if we look down at his hands, he's not as confident. Well, he's not even actually making out to be very confident, but he's certainly not in that kind of arrogant, royal, confident mode that we know, and I won't use the word love about Andrew now, but it's one that we're very familiar with. Because at the same time that he's projecting all of this, oh, this is so funny, you know, you're making me laugh, he's scratching his hand at the same time. And this looks like a slightly self-comfort, self-protective gesture, as though he's deep down not feeling the confident party man that he's trying to present. So possibly slightly in awe of his surroundings. And then we have him with another famous face in the old golf buggy. And if we look at his pose here again, he looks quite, not schoolboyish, but you know, he's leaning back, he's slightly self-diminished, slightly bashful. And we've got if we look at the hands clasped between the thighs, a slightly awkward finger positioning, again, as though there's a little bit of insecurity going on, a little bit of nervousness, awkwardness, as though he feels he's with the big grown-ups, the really famous people. He's grinning like he's sort of the newbie being introduced to the press. And you can see, in a way, a very strong signal of what the status balance is like here from this gesture. A thumb jerk. That's not something you normally see applied to a royal, that one over there. It's funny, but it's also a bit dismissive. It's oh yeah, that one. It makes them look a little bit like a lightweight. It lacks respect. It's a slightly disrespectful. Clearly some form of banter, but again, not something you would normally expect to see used on a royal. and he's quite happy about it. So strange status imbalance there. So if we jump 5 years, we see a very different form of Andy. Not just looking super royal here, not just looking rather aloof and arrogant here, but also looking very Hollywood here as well. If you look at him and his daughter and Fergie, they're all projecting this very celebrity look, A-list celebrity, you know, not courting the cameras anymore. If we look at Andrew's body language, now we've got the arm across the body, which is that's a very royal male look that they use a lot. His father used a lot, etc. It's a barrier gesture. It's not a nervous barrier gesture, though. It's a barrier gesture to sort of keep the non-royals out of the way. The finger in the mouth that we've got going on here, a very sort of judgmental, I don't suffer fools gladly. The finger against the side of the face, again, it's a gesture that you're sizing something or a situation up, and those two put together, it would actually be quite intimidating if you were trying to talk to somebody that was doing that. He's also standing at a distance from his daughter and his wife, and again, that looks as though he's making himself look just that little bit more special. And Fergie, wow, I mean, again, very much the Hollywood wife here, and ditto glamorous from the daughter as well. The evolutionary process has now leapt to much more current Andrew, and we've now got a man that has really been pushed to the back row of the royals and beyond, some dusty shelf somewhere. But this was probably his last outing in sort of the bosom of the royals at a funeral, and it was so interesting to see the way that he worked this and the reception that he got and his body language responses for getting this. Now, he turns up with Fergie, but the minute that they are with the other royals, the two of them separate, and there's kind of two different styles of networking going on. Fergie, there's something a little bit more, you see her weaving in and out of the back of the tapestry, trying to catch anybody's eye, but not for Andrew. Andrew, at this moment, was still very, very, very keen and determined to put himself at the middle of that family scene. He walked up, he stood in the middle, he stood and spoke to his brother. He would have known that the cameras were watching it. He made himself look very much like a high-ranking royal. And then he moved over to stand behind Kate and William. And if we look, when he did that, Kate, interestingly enough, sort of ignored him. She's getting good at that. William did have some kind of communication, but it was very one way from Andrew, and I think William was just trying to sort of get out of the conversation. But look at the expression, look at those eyes now, and that expression in the eyes, I think, says everything. Staring at Kate, standing behind William, that baleful glare that I think when the late Queen did it, it didn't mean anything unpleasant at all. But with Andrew, it looks extremely meaningful. And if we look at the lip clamp as well, there's something about, I should be there, you know, that, how come they're standing in front of me? If we move on the same occasion, this was very much pure Andrew. He made a beeline for William. He came up and started to small talk William. He stood in the middle so that he was in the middle of the pose. He was so visible, and here he is talking not to maybe the current power holder but the next power holder, and trying to look as though, I mean, we've got a chat going on as far as he's concerned, a chat between equals, heads turned, ties a little ruffled, chin's a little squashed, but that determined eye expression. This isn't even small talk, this is eyeball to eyeball, there's eye contact going on here. He's so trying to engage William in some meaningful looking conversation that would show him being there still as somewhere near the head of the household. And then, interestingly, from William, I mean, look at his eye expression, the brows are furrowed with a degree of concern, and that's a non-committal mouth expression. I will turn, because I am a polite person, but I'm really not engaging in any big conversation here.